It's another edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. Welcome back, everyone. It's Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Boy, the weather was fantastic. That's 2 weekends in a row. We'll take that anytime. Today, not quite as nice. As you step outside, no shock. It's more humid out there. It's cloudier today. And in some parts of the valley, it's even trying to rain a little bit as I record this afternoon at about 1:40 p.m. The most numerous showers as I record this up in northern Trumbull County, and they're kind of hugging the Pennsylvania-Ohio border. I do have the lightning detector on, not seeing a whole lot of lightning out there just yet. The atmosphere being kind of helped out a little bit by clouds, at least we're being helped out by clouds. That's kind of keeping the instability at a minimum, and while there can be a thunderstorm in spots, we're not looking at a lot of thunderstorm activity for the rest of the day today. So if you have outdoor plans this afternoon, this evening, I would not cancel them. Don't think it'll do much. I'm going to show you some simulated radars in just a second. Looking off to the west, things are a little more active out here in the southern suburbs of Chicago, heading over to Indiana, parts of Michigan as well. And all of that is lining up along a cold front, which you can pick out here on the surface pressure map. What we have going on today is low pressure up near Duluth, Minnesota, and there's a cold front right in through here. And we also have a warm front that extends out like this. And you can easily pick out those features as well if you take a look at what the dew points are doing today. Again, no surprise. Yeah, it's more humid today. Dew points across Ohio and western Pennsylvania in the 60s uniformly. And when you talk about dew points in the 60s, yeah, it's pretty muggy outside. Those very comfortable dew points we had over the weekend, they've retreated over towards the East Coast, where dew points are now in the 50s. Now, you look out to the west, and behind that front, dew points are very slowly trying to trail off. It's kind of a slow process. The more bona fide dry air is still out here across the Dakotas and into Nebraska as well. So yeah, it's more humid today, but otherwise, it's not a bad day. It's warm, but it's not going to do a whole lot. I'm going to bring up the latest high-resolution rapid refresh model here. This is a real high-res model that is run once an hour, and we use it out in the short term, generally in the next 12 to 14 hours. And I will show you the simulated radar product here starting at 4 o'clock this afternoon, so a couple of hours after I record this. And at 4 o'clock, things are still active out here, but still not doing a whole lot, northeast Ohio into western Pennsylvania. I can't rule out that you get a shower, maybe even hear a clap of thunder around 4 or 5, but that'll be the exception, not the rule. Most of us will be high and dry. And then here's 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock, so right around the dinner hour. Still not much going on. The atmosphere is moderately unstable, but we don't have much of a trigger. There's not a front coming through, nothing to really provide a whole lot of lift in the atmosphere. So just the instability alone means that we have to account for the possibility of a stray shower or storm, but it's not going to be real well organized through the end of the daylight hours. Here's 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. So if tonight's your golf league, if you want to play some tennis, play some golf, mow the grass, whatever you need to do, for most of us, we're going to be in pretty good shape, I think, through about sunset. As we head past sunset this evening, here's 9 p.m., and here's when that band of showers with embedded thunder we'll be heading up towards I-71, Cleveland, Mansfield, Columbus, starting to, kind of be under the gun here after sunset for some showers and some rumbles. This is at 11 o'clock this evening and then midnight. So, again, everything's kind of weakening, it looks like, as it comes east, but still, we're going to allow for that chance for showers and storms during the course of the night tonight. Switching over to the latest NAM model, it's not quite as high of a resolution of a model, but it's still pretty good. It's the middle of the night tonight at 1 a.m. Here's 2 a.m. And again, bottom line is you might hear the pitter-patter of raindrops on your windows tonight, but we're not looking at severe weather tonight. Tomorrow starts out with the possibility of a shower and a thunderstorm around with our front nearby. This is at 8 o'clock in the morning. Not a lot, but there could be a thunder shower around. Midday looks pretty quiet, and then as we get into tomorrow afternoon, and our front is starting to really probably start to really lift the atmosphere a little bit better across the region. There could be a couple of pretty good downpours that try to develop in the warmest part of the day tomorrow afternoon. Here's noon, 1 p.m., and then 2 p.m. So, again, the model's not going to probably get this exactly right, but it gives you a sense as to what the coverage might be. Scattered hit-or-miss type of storms that could, get a little feisty tomorrow afternoon and early tomorrow evening. Here's it, let's see, this would be 3 p.m., and then 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m. Best chance to get wet overall tomorrow, at least the best chance to hear some thunder, see some lightning, will be in the mid to late afternoon into the evening. The day may start with a couple of showers, probably not much thunder, though. Your best chance of a thunderstorm, I think, is with the arrival of our front late in the day. Tomorrow, late in the afternoon, heading into tomorrow evening. This is at 8 p.m. Things are looking pretty active, particularly south and east of Youngstown. Now, where this front eventually decides to settle is a big deal. Where that front decides to settle will have a lot of influence on the steering of a complex of thunderstorms that is likely to form in the plain states tomorrow night. So let's focus on that now, because this could be a big ticket kind of an item. Posted this on social media this morning. This is the official Storm Prediction Center outlook for severe weather Wednesday and Wednesday night. What you're looking at here is the percent chance of some type of severe weather, whether it be hail or damaging winds, within 25 miles of any one spot. Again, percent chance within 25 miles of any location of seeing either damaging winds or large hail. The red area is 30%. Sorry, my telestrator here is red, so it doesn't show up real well. Up here in the yellow, that's 15%, and then the brown is 5%. So as you can see here, the chances for severe weather Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday evening increase as you go off to the south, with lower chances north of Youngstown. And the reason why that is that old front is going to settle off to our south, and it'll act as kind of a magnet attracting a complex of storms. That complex of storms is going to want to ride along that front, and since the odds favor that front settling to our south, that means the odds are higher of severe weather and big thunderstorms off to the south of Youngstown during the course of Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening. What we have going on here is a look at the, take off my telestrator, the convective available potential energy. You hear me call this CAPE sometimes. That's the abbreviation. And this is a measure of the atmosphere's instability, taking into account how much moisture there is, how much lift there is, all sorts of things go into it. And this is at midday on Wednesday. Notice what has happened here. We have basically almost no CAPE around northeast Ohio and western Pennsylvania. Our front will have settled down in here. South of the front, very unstable atmosphere. This is really juicy and unstable in through here at 11 a.m. on Wednesday. As I roll this forward into the afternoon, go forward a few hours here. This is at 5 p.m. And again, notice that the front has lifted north a little. It's wiggled, but it's mostly still off to our south. This is just one model. This is just the NAM model, but I think it has a decent grasp on at least the parameters. It may not have a decent grasp yet as to where exactly the storms are going to go, but it does show you, it illustrates nicely where the atmosphere will be most susceptible to having thunderstorms on Wednesday. Very unstable down here along the Ohio River, not so much northeast Ohio and western Pennsylvania late in the day on Wednesday. So what does this mean as far as the predicted radar goes? Let's back this up. This is Tuesday evening at 11 p.m. Big complex of thunderstorms out across the heartland. Now, wherever this is going to produce a lot of wind damage, some flash flooding, and some hail probably, and there could even be some spin-up tornadoes in this. But the big threat's going to be the wind along the leading edge of this, wherever it is. Now, this is where the current NAM model has it, but it may not be right, so take this with a grain of salt. This is at 11 p.m. Tuesday evening. Here's the middle of the night, 2 a.m., heading into Wednesday morning, and then here's 5 a.m. By about daybreak on Wednesday, the leading edge, according to the NAM, of this complex of storms will be somewhere in here, and probably starting to bend south and east. Now, notice what happens here is this runs into the kind of more stable atmosphere across central and eastern Ohio during the morning on Wednesday. Notice what happens. The complex probably will do some weakening a little bit. And so here's the predicted radar this is at 8 a.m. on Wednesday. Still looks pretty healthy, but it's undergoing some weakening. And then here's at 11 a.m. on Wednesday. Notice the trend, overall weakening. Now, the NAM model does bring this a little bit more due east than I suspect is correct. My gut feeling is this is going to bend more like this, starting out in the plain states and eventually bending through Chicago, through Indianapolis, and probably towards Columbus, Dayton, Zanesville. That's just my gut feeling, but this is only Monday afternoon, and we've got a long way to go on this. But the bottom line I want you to take away from this is we have the chance, yes, of seeing severe weather here midday and afternoon on Wednesday. Just 48 hours in advance, I suspect the chance is going to be higher off to the south. A lot of these convective complexes like to bend right more than the models a couple of days out think. And certainly the NAM model has more of a due east idea than some of the other models, and what I suspect is the ultimate right answer. So, I think the chances of severe weather are a little higher, and perhaps even a lot higher, down in Cincinnati, Parkersburg, Marietta, Zanesville, Columbus than up here. But stay tuned, because that could be a big ticket item if it were to decide to come our way. Beyond that, things are looking real quiet. We'll just zoom through this quickly. Thursday into Friday, drying trend, humidity comes down, high pressure builds in, looks perfect. Thursday and Friday, Saturday as well. We're going to have another great start to the upcoming weekend. Now, by Sunday, some of the models are starting to increase the clouds and the humidity. Maybe there's a thunderstorm by the end of Sunday. But I'll tell you, at this point, it looks like another pretty grand weekend coming up. 16-day temperature outlook based on the GFS model as we wrap this up. A little below average. Maybe this is a little overdone. Middle this week, I suspect it's a little warmer than this. And then beyond that, there's just not a lot of cooler than average air in this pattern, I think, through the middle of June. So we're looking at a lot of highs in the 70s and 80s for the next 2 weeks. So it's been a long time coming. Enjoy it. And that's weather for Weather Geeks on this Monday. I'll see you on the news tonight at 6 and 11.